are we filming a video? What's that big bright lights? But you're probably more interested in the fact that I've got treats. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a puppy video. I have not filmed a video on this channel with this little man since the day we picked him up. So a video about him. Obviously you guys see him on my vlogs all the time. Sorry in advance if you hear some rattling, but that's because we've got to keep him engaged. So finally it is overdue of doing a video on my little boy Jerry, my little miniature Dachshund. Last time, if you're new to the channel, then hello, my name is Amy. We do loads of content on this channel that is all to do with lifestyle, home, fashion, but most importantly, what came with home and moving into my first ever house with my partner is we decided to make our family a 3, and we ended up getting little Jerry man over here just about a year ago now. So before we get into this video and answering all of your questions and just giving a bit of an overview of what it was like having a first year with a miniature Dachshund as a puppy and having them as a dog, if you're thinking of getting a Dachshund yourself, if you're thinking of getting a puppy yourself, if you've just got into a position where you can get a dog and you feel you're ready, this might be a really good video to watch before you do that, and especially if you are looking to get a miniature Dachshund, because they are such a specific breed. They kind of have very many traits that are fantastic and are also the most annoying thing in the world. So if you think that that's something you'd like to see and you'd like to know about Jerry, then please keep watching. Just before we get into the video though, we do have a sponsor for today's video, which is actually Jerry's favorite brand. He is very excited to be working with these guys. It is Omelette. If you haven't heard of Omelette, Omelette are an incredible online, essentially, pet store. Cats and dogs and all sorts. Omelette is the place to go. So Jerry absolutely loves it because they sent over for him, actually on his birthday. I'm going to be playing a clip over here that he got a little bit of a birthday present from Omelette this year, which was his new Topology bed. The Topology bed is a luxury dog bed with customizable toppers and feet. The whole idea about this bed is basically that it is your kind of one and only that your dog will have. The whole idea about it also is that it has all of these zip-on toppers that you can buy, and any kind of topper for any occasion. So they do have like fabric ones, they have bolster ones, they have fur, they have microfiber, they have everything. And the idea is as well, it's a memory foam mattress, which, as you know, most dogs do need kind of like orthopedic mattresses, ones that are good for their joints. Our dogs should be active every single day, so they need to have a really good place to rest. So the Topology bed is all focused around this, and Jerry has been loving it. I'll also put in a little clip here of this morning when I came down and he was fast asleep. He just honestly sleeps perfectly in this bed. They also come in 3 sizes, the small, the medium and the large, and the website is super helpful as well to obviously help you know which one to shop for your dog, because Jerry actually went for the medium. Now, although he is a small breed dog, the medium, according to the measurements, is what he should have gone for, and I'm really glad that that's what he got. You can see from the clip it does look a little bit big, but of course you would want your dog to have more space than less. They want to have enough room for their blankets, for them, and just to be able to stretch out when they want to. Another little item I did pick up on the website as well is a new lead for Jerry. It's by the brand Cloud 7, and it is literally luxury for dogs. So this is a leather lead, and I believe it's handmade in Italy. But a big thank you to Omelette for sponsoring today's video. Jerry is very excited to be working with you. He loves his Omelette bed. Honestly, the Topology has been a game changer. It looks so nice in our space as well. You did actually also get a few different toppers. So as you've seen from that clip, if you spotted it, there was that beige fur cover. That is actually a zip-on topper, but we use it on top of the bolster topper just because it's nice for him to lay on it. We kind of use it as a throw. They've also given me a 10% discount code, which I'm flashing up on the screen here for you now. I will leave all the T's and C's for that down below. Also a link down below to Jerry's specific Topology bed. There's a little builder, it's like IKEA. It's like a little builder where you can choose the size, choose the toppers, choose the bits and bobs you want, choose the feet. It's so cute, and you end up customizing the perfect bed for your pooch. My battery's flashing at me, so I'm gonna change my battery, and then we're gonna get into some Q&As, aren't we? We are. This is like the worst angle ever, but let's go over here. Down. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Paw. Good boy. Other paw. Good boy, well done. So I put a question box out on my Instagram a few weeks ago and also again today to ask you guys what you want to know about Jerry. I just thought this would be the easiest way to do this video because obviously it'll be the common questions, the ones you guys are interested in, so I've kind of let you structure today's video. So the first question is very simple one to answer. Who is the stricter dog parent? 100% it is me. It really is good cop, bad cop situation. I am the full-on tell Jerry off, be very strict with him, shout at him if he does something wrong. Andy is just he's the softie. He will let Jerry get away with absolutely anything. Next question is, how long did he sleep in the bedroom crate? How did you go about transitioning rooms? So there's two strategies that you can take when getting a new puppy. One is just leave them downstairs if that's where you're planning on them for them to sleep. The day you bring them home, leave them downstairs, whether that's in their bed or if you're crate training, and ride out the crying. Literally, it will be days, possibly weeks of crying and moaning and tears, and you'll feel like a horrible person because this poor little puppy doesn't know what's going on. That's route A, which we decided not to take. We decided to take route B. So we did crate train Jerry. That's some people's opinion of it shouldn't be the case, and it's some people's opinion that it is the best way. We decided to do that. If I had another puppy, I would 100% do that again. We also moved into a new house, so obviously we knew we were going to have accidents with the dog, but we wanted to be a lot more in control of when that was. So a crate allows you to do that. A crate is also a fantastic tool. I don't believe it is cruel in any way, shape or form. If you feel differently, that is completely fair enough, but we always were in a case where Jerry always just went in the crate to sleep and the door was left open for him for it to be his safe space, and he used to go into it all the time. So in terms of transitioning rooms, when we first got him, we put him in the crate and we let him sleep in our bedroom for, I believe it was the first 3 nights. Our plan was then to transition him out of the room onto the landing for a night and then down into the hallway for a night and then eventually into the room. Honestly, the crying and the sleepless nights that I had and me and Andy had were just not bearable. The amount of crying and stress we could feel from him just from being a new puppy and a baby and coming to a foreign place was so much. So we did ride out 3 nights upstairs, and then we decided that it was best to put him downstairs. So we brought him down, but this is the one thing that they always say, every trainer I ever watched, is if you're doing route B, do not revert to route A and vice versa. If you got a route, stick with it. So he ended up moving downstairs in his crate, but we actually have a sofa bed down here. So Andy naturally stays up quite late. Andy goes to bed at about 2 AM, whereas myself, I go to sleep a lot earlier. So it was working out well that Andy slept downstairs for the next few nights with Jerry in his new environment. So I know that's not usually something that everybody can do because it just so happened we had a sofa bed in there, so that worked out really well. And Andy was downstairs for probably about 4 nights, I think it was. After that 4 nights, Jerry was settled into that room and it was as good as it was gonna get. We still had a few cries on some nights, but he was definitely much more settled. Next question is, how old until he stopped crying when you'd leave him alone for a shower / take the bins out, etc. He honestly probably stopped crying about like 4 months ago. We're in a position where we don't let Jerry up the stairs. We have a sausage stopper, so like a blocker at the bottom of the stairs. 9 times out of 10 it's not there, and Jerry's learned not to go up the stairs, but he will sit at the bottom stair and look up, and he used to cry and moan if he could hear us upstairs. Now he just knows the routine is that when we go upstairs, we're upstairs and he's always downstairs. He knows we come back down now and again. Nighttime, he also knows that when we go up, we're not coming back down until the morning. So we've now got into a good routine, but quite honestly, it was, you know, at 9 months plus. Why did you choose such a small dog this time when Milo was a big lab? So if you're new around here, my family dog and my #1 boy is Milo. He was a Labrador, and he passed away about more than 3 years ago, maybe now, 3 years ago or so in November. Honestly, like, at that time in my life, it was the hardest thing to process. The grief that you feel with losing a family dog, a family pet, whatever it is, honestly is equal to a family member. It really is. It stuck with me. I've never dealt with large grief in my life before, and that was honestly the worst time of my life. But I always knew what love Milo brought, and after I kind of got through that initial stage of grief, which honestly was probably about a year, I knew that when I had my own house and I had my own family, I definitely wanted that love that a dog could bring. So although that sadness at the end was overwhelmingly horrible and dreadful, it really was, the price, like, of what Milo gave us for those 13 years was priceless, you know. So I always knew I wanted another dog. However, because Milo was a bigger dog, I certainly knew I didn't want anything like his breed. He is my one and only and always will be. Again, then I've always loved Dachshunds, so we decided to go for a Dachshund. So I said to Andy about it, and he was in full agreement that he really likes the Dachshunds and he loved the black and tan version of them. So, I mean, I would have had any. I would have liked to have rescued as well, but, you know, it was just a decision between both of us. Andy has never had a dog before as well, so he said that he would love to rescue too, but as a first dog, a family first dog, we wanted a puppy. That was just the route we decided to take. We have already said in our lifetime we want to rescue, hopefully more than once as well, but for a first dog and for what at the time, that was the route we felt to go with. Milo was also a pure breed Labrador, a pedigree Labrador even. And that was something my parents chose to do back when I was young as well. I don't want to get into it because it's a huge debate and my heart wrenches every time, but I am so pro rescue and adoption and everything, and that is something I want to do in my life. But you are signing up for something a little bit different. Obviously that animal can come from troubled backgrounds, which is just a lot more work, especially when you don't know what you're going to get. So although that's going to be the most rewarding thing in the world and I can't wait to do it in my life, I certainly will, just at this point in life it wasn't something we were prepared to do. How old is Jerry and why did you choose that specific breed? So Jerry is a year and a month, and I chose a miniature Dachshund because I've always loved Dachshunds. Oh, I've always thought they are the cutest little... They're just so cute, aren't they? I call him a pygmy dog because he really is, like, I think he's literally sleeping. I call him a pygmy dog because he's just so darn cute with his little short legs and his long body. Why we chose a miniature specifically is just because, again, I had a bigger dog when I grew up. I would rather have had a smaller dog, although Jerry is kind of a bigger miniature, so I've seen with comparables. Then again, I've seen ones bigger than him as well. Miniature Dachshunds are only usually about 30 to 40% smaller than a Dachshund, so they're not actually significantly smaller. They're not as tiny, they're not teacup dogs. Like, that's initially what I thought, is I thought he was going to be like that big. Hey Amy, has Jerry stopped destroying the mat now and is he better at night? So 100% Jerry is amazing at night now. Touch wood, dare I say, but he knows when it's bedtime. We've got a routine. We'll be sitting in here watching TV and then we go, eat on bed. He's looking at me weird now, but we do that kind of same thing, which then Andy takes him out for a wee and then we put on classic FM and we put him in his Topology bed when he goes to sleep, and we give him a Lily's Kitchen bedtime biscuit. That is his specific nighttime routine. When those things happen in a row, he knows that that is time to sleep. We do not disturb, we do not go toilet, we don't do anything, we sleep. So 100% he's got way better. Before, we'd had nights where sometimes he was just not into it. He didn't want to go to bed. He'd be at the bottom of the stairs crying and barking, and it literally happened to the point where he was nearly 1 and it was still happening, where honestly I think he started crying at 11 o'clock when we put him to bed, all the way through till 4 AM and like howling. But thankfully, post 1, that's not happened yet. And then when she's saying about destroying the mat, yes. So we had a little mat just here by the back door, and we had to lock him in while we were doing the garden renovation, and he literally ripped the mat up in front of us. To be honest, as a puppy, he was very good with not destroying things. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. But the only things that he did chew are like the most expensive things that I had in the house. He chewed my Chanel wallet. He literally chewed my Chanel wallet. I will insert a picture here. My heart broke because I was at the gym and Andy sent me a message saying, where did you leave this? And I'd left it on a coffee table, and he had got up and managed to get it, and there is no way that I can repair this. It would cost more to repair it than it was to actually buy the item, therefore it's not feasible, and that I have to live with. But that is my actual Chanel, first piece of Chanel I ever bought. It's so meaningful to me, and it was absolutely destroyed. He also chewed Andy's prescription glasses, which obviously prescription glasses are expensive, so he chewed my most valuable thing and Andy's most expensive, not most expensive, but like most expensive thing he uses every day as well. So he wasn't a destructive dog, but those things are unforgivable. Next question is, what was your biggest challenge and how quickly did you introduce him to people? Biggest challenge, I would have to say that the biggest challenge was 100% toilet training. I never want to go through that again. I know I will have to if we get another dog, but my goodness, I honestly, it made me have grey hair. I think I lost a few years of my life with stress. It just didn't help as well that I am OCD with cleaning, so obviously toilet training extremely stressed me out when he was a very small puppy and I didn't feel I could communicate with him, and he would just in front of me go and could be down to do a wee or go and do a poo right in front of me. But because he's a baby and he doesn't know what he's doing, not because he's doing it naughtily. That was the biggest struggle with him that I had. And honestly, he was probably not fully toilet trained all the way up till going over 6 months. I was still battling with it. But now we are there, he's all good. The second part was how quickly did you introduce him to people? So I think you're not allowed to introduce the dogs to other dogs for a while because he has to have had his jabs, which he had at, is it 12 weeks? Actually it was 14 weeks because then 2 weeks for the actual vaccinations to kick into his body. So he never met any dogs until he was about 14 weeks old. But people, my mum and dad came round a couple of days after to come and meet him. Andy's parents came and met him, our friends. We introduced him to people very, very soon. So he's always been fine with people. How did you know he was the right puppy? So when you are looking for a dog, so if you are looking like we did for a specific breed of dog, we went on Pets for Homes. This is like kind of a Craigslist, a kind of, I think Craigslist is the only way to describe it, a kind of yellow pages for breeders to, you know, put dogs out there. It's a completely certified site. Obviously you have to be extremely careful with you know, sellers and breeders that are not registered and dogs that are being bred just for money and that have got false paperwork and have been brought up in a horrible environment, and dog farms, puppy farms basically. You need to be extremely vigilant of those because they are around, and obviously these sort of breeds can get very expensive. So if you see an alarmingly cheap dog, that's a massive red flag already. If there's certain things like the breeder doesn't want you to go to their house or to their premises and they're meeting in a random location or anything, you just got to look out for the red flags, because puppy farms are disgusting, but they're very, very real. Anyway, we had found this advertisement on there of this family that live over in Wales, and they were, you know, the mum was fully pedigree and certified, so was the dad, and they had a litter of 3 and they were selling 2 boys and 1 girl. So we inquired about it and we drove all the way over to Wales. We took like a 2-hour journey to go into the valleys and stuff, and we were very cautious because this is actually a place that Wales and the valleys are notorious for where you can get puppy farms and, you know, illegal breeders and things, so we were extra vigilant and cautious about that. Anyway, we turned up at this guy's house. It was his family home. He had a couple of kids and the mum of Jerry was his dog. And the way it had worked is that him and his friend had both had Dachshunds. They had a male, he had a female, and they just decided that they would, you know, let them have puppies and do it all the right way and see if they can, put it bluntly, make some money. But they did go down all the correct channels, because we did contact the kennel club to check he was all registered, check he was vaccinated, and he'd done everything by the book. I'm still on WhatsApp with him to this day. He said he's not doing breeding anymore. He said it was just massively not what they thought it was going to be. Hugely expensive, hugely stress because of having new puppies in the house and a pregnant dog. But anyway, it was very, very kosher. We knew it was all fine and they had all their ducks in a row. So we went to see these 3 little puppies. We always knew we wanted a boy. I was always up for having a boy dog, and we went and seen this litter. There was 2 boys, 1 girl. The 2 boys were black and tan and the girl was dapple. I love dapple, I think they're so beautiful. So one of the other boys was actually already sold, so we knew that if we were going to see this dog, we knew that he was going to be that puppy, the one that was not sold. And so we went in and we just sort of instantly knew, oh my god, there's a spider. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Wait, I've just like trapped it in a white company box and hoped for the best. I'm gonna have to wait for Andy to come down. But yeah, anyway, we went and go to see. We knew that if we were going, there wasn't a huge litter to choose from. We knew it was going to be him, and it was honestly so cute. I'm gonna insert a few pictures here from the day that we went to go and view him. Sounds like a house, but you know what I mean. It was so cute. He was so tiny, and we just knew it was at that point. I turned to Andy, we seen him, obviously got to play it cool in front of the person selling him and saying like, yeah, we'll think about it, blah blah. We got back in the car and I said to Andy like, so what do you think? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, yep. Do you mean yep? Like, yes, like we can do this? And I was so excited and we agreed in the car, and so I sent the text to the guy, and we bought Jerry. So we went back, I think a few weeks later, and picked him up. That gave me time to go and buy all the stuff, which if you haven't seen my puppy haul, you must go watch it. The link's down in the description box of all the new things you're ever going to want to need for a puppy. Watch that video. Was he nippy as a puppy? If so, when did the nipping settle? Nope, Jerry has never nipped. Never ever been a dog that wants to bite. He does play fight, but he knows exactly when. Like if you play with your hand, he knows to be very, very soft. Touch wood, he's never ever hurt anybody at all. He's never hurt anyone. He's never went to go aggressively bite another human or another dog. So that's not something we ever encountered. How many walks a day? Now, we're very naughty. We only take him on 1. Jerry is not a walker, bless him. He doesn't like the exercise. He's like his dad. He don't like his exercise. So yeah, Jerry goes on 1 walk a day. We go to our local park, and that usually does it for him. Obviously, sometimes we'll take him on another walk if we feel that he's a bit unsettled or we feel that he needs to burn off some steam, but 9 times out of 10 he loves sleeping and he likes his 1 walk a day. Would 1 suit a flat? Now, I certainly don't think so. I think I'd be extremely stressed if I had Jerry and I had a flat. 1, for many reasons, but 1, toilet training. I don't know how you would do it. I know you can buy like the little patches of like artificial grass and stuff. Maybe that would work, but honestly that would stress me out with the smell and cleaning it as well. 2, the barking when you first get a puppy. You are going to piss off your neighbors, and while I'm somebody who's like, I don't really care what anybody else thinks, it's their problem, it's not. It's a very you problem. So 100%, like the barking is so loud. Like we live in a detached house, and when we used to come home some nights, I could be stood outside my house on the drive and I could hear him barking. So let alone if you were in a flat where you literally have a wall dividing you with somebody, I don't think they'd be very happy. And then 3, of course, just the space. To be honest, you're saying a flat could be huge for all I know, but honestly, like him having a garden is just so valuable. He loves going out, he loves the grass, it's a fantastic training tool. It's important dogs can have outside space. So I really think that having a dog in a flat, even having a cat in a flat, any animal in a flat, apart from like one that's in a cage, it's probably not the best idea. It's just stress you don't need, and just stress or space that the animal, you know, the animal doesn't need that either. They need space. And the final one on here again was just toilet training. Was it easy? Absolutely not. Do I have any pro tips for toilet training? Because I feel like that's what a lot of you, if you're watching this video with puppies, are going to be wondering about. Like I said, there'll be times that you cry, there'll be times you regret getting your dog or cat or whatever. I don't know, do you toilet train cats? I suppose you do. There'll be times when you regret getting your dog. All I'm going to say is don't feel guilty for that. It's a completely normal feeling. Being overwhelmed is completely normal. It is a massive, massive commitment, and it is a massive amount of training it takes in all areas. So don't ever, because I used to feel so guilty. It got to the point where I even thought we'd have to sell Jerry because I couldn't cope. That's how bad it got. And obviously looking back now, I would have never done that, and I would have been so upset if we had done. you just have to persist through it, even though it feels like you are breaking. Like, I thought I was actually breaking, like I felt useless. You will get through it. It will be okay, and you'll start to understand each other. It's just some dogs take longer than others. Definitely also always have one keyword. So for him it's wee wees. He knows that word. If I ask him to go wheeze anywhere, he will know what I mean, and I'll take him to a patch of grass. He puts the 2 and 2 together and he will go. So important to keep one word, do not change it all over the place. Obviously always associate grass with that. Don't buy any shaggy rugs that are in your house, especially green ones, but shaggy in general I would not recommend for you to buy. That's a little bit confusing for the poor things. And anything else, training bells. He's got training bells. You guys would have heard these in vlogs. Like, he literally goes to our back door and he knocks with his nose the training bells. When I first bought those, everyone thought I was insane. They were like, yeah, your dog's not going to ring a bell. If you train the dog to ring a bell, he rings a bell. Jerry now rings that, and honestly they're actually very easy in terms of psychology to train your dog with. So the bells hang on the door. You can get like the pressy ones as well, but I've got bells that hang. When they're a puppy, it's so important to train them using the keyword. So I would take Jerry to the back door and I would go, like when I know it's time to take him out for a week, he hasn't been for a while. You take them, you hold their nose, well not hold them, you hold their body and you just tap their nose on the bells and go wee wees and tap it in the jingle, so he can associate the word, the sound, the action, and the action of going outside to go to the toilet. I persisted and persisted with that. Andy thought I was crazy. It paid off, it worked. I personally highly recommend training bells. So guys, I'm gonna leave this video here. I hope that that has sort of covered all the bases on it. Bottom line is, if you're thinking of getting a puppy, if you're in a position where you've got a stable home, a garden, the finances to do it, because obviously you have to have, not have to, but definitely I would have pet insurance. We've got pet insurance for Jerry, and obviously their food, their monthly bills you've got to add on to your outgoings. Also in terms of Dachshunds in general, 1 in 4 Dachshunds do get what they call IVDD. IVDD is something I hope and wish we never experience in our lifetime. As you know, Dachshunds have long spines, so their downfall is the fact that they can get something called IVDD, which is inverted disc displacement, and it's a huge operation, and it means that the dog has to be under constant, you know, bed rest for the rest of their living life. I hope to God we never go through that, but there's lots of things you can do to make sure that you prevent that as much as possible, such as when they're puppies, not jumping off of sofas, not going up or down stairs. When you lift them up, don't sort of lift them from the legs. I always lift Jerry, scoop him from the bottom and then scoop his bum, so you're not, you know, pulling the spine. There's loads of little things you can do, so as long as you're doing all of those, that's the best you can do at the end of the day. But yeah, I really will leave the video there. Jerry is finding it absolutely exhausting, aren't you, my man? It's too exhausting. But yeah, we're in a really good place, guys. I am so glad you love to see him on the vlogs. I always put him on there where I can, and you really have settled down, my man, haven't you? Everything's all good now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to check out Omelette. I will link it in the description box down below, as well as that discount code and any information that you need. And apart from that, if you do have any other questions, leave them down below. I want below to be a forum for all of us Dachshund owners, puppy owners. Any questions you have, leave them down there. Everybody watching, go look down for the questions, see if you can share some advice with people as well. I want this video to be a community of people helping out each other, because it is a journey. It is, you know, this is a little baby. He's just a fur baby, so it is a massive thing. Remember to subscribe if you want to see more Dachshund content, and I will see you all in my next video. And say bye, dearie. Bye. Ciao.